Foul Trouble today. Patrick and I are going to be doing NFL, NBA superlatives in honor of football week coming back. And it's just fun. I love a good cross-sport comparison.
There's nothing better. And it really brings all the sports communities together.
Let's get into Foul Trouble. All right, but before we do that, I cannot believe this is a real story that the Sixers might move to Camden, New Jersey.
They have to change their name to the Swamp Dragons if they move. That's the only rule.
I feel like if you had a team in Camden, they would be named the Camden Criminals. So Camden, like, I don't know if it still is.
I hope we don't have too many Camden fans.
Well, Camden fans would agree. I mean, I've met some Camden people, and I don't know. It's not the greatest city in the country. It's
I just feel like when I see like rumors like this about like this iconic franchise is going to move to this random ass city, kind of like the Wizards thing last year. Yeah. It's like you've never seen, like, they're just telegraphing a sports curse. It's like so easy. You're just like, it's like you're getting and like sacrificing a billy goat right there.
Yeah. Well, you know, but the thing is, when these things happen, they don't happen like gradually. They happen suddenly. Like, you know, like suddenly, Foul Trouble, our podcast, we just moved sets. We didn't even say anything about it.
That's true. Yeah. Hey, the Coyotes, the Arizona Coyotes, they're gone. Arizona doesn't have a hockey team anymore. Just like that. We didn't say anything about that either.
It was always weird that you guys did have a hockey team, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would say most Arizona natives functioned like we didn't. We just tried to ignore it.
No, my favorite was growing up, like here in like the Los Angeles, you know, metropolitan area. It'd be like the Kings win a Stanley Cup, and you go to school the next day, and there's like 1,000 Kings jerseys, and you're like, I haven't seen one.
Yeah,
I haven't seen one.
Ever. Yeah, we never even had that like spike of like, oh, the Valley's got Coyotes fever. Like they just, I remember one time they were like in the first round and it was like everybody wear white, and that was it.
I don't know why that reminds me, Patrick. Did you see that our two NBA teams were beefing on Twitter earlier this week?
The Suns and the Heat?
You didn't see that?
No, I haven't been as chronically online recently.
Oh, you know, I'm just chronically online. Me, no social life. No, the Suns and the Heat were having a little tissy about who has better attendance.
Oh! I feel like it's got to be the Suns. At least the last couple of years.
It was the Heat.
Wow.
But so the Chronicle, the Suns were, I don't know what prompted it. They made fun of the Heat being late, and then the Heat clapped back with the actual attendance numbers. So I kind of feel like it's a draw because both are, like, the Heat can technically be right if they sell the ticket, but the Suns can be right if that person doesn't show up till the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing is like the Heat fans are always late and they always leave early. But I mean, I think especially fans from my hometown of Scottsdale, I think we are all guilty of doing things quite similarly. But we're not just talking about basketball today.
Wait, I feel like I have so many more like little stories before we get into this. I'm getting ramped up.
James Internet Corner. I love it.
Well, I remember like during the Big Three Heatles era, like the Dan Le Batard show when it was at its like apex, people called in and they were like, "You guys have LeBron James and you're showing up late," and this guy just was like, "We're going to the beach, man. It's Miami." No, but the real story I wanted to tell was about the Kings jerseys for hockey. So the year the Giants won the Super Bowl, you know, of course, I rock my Giants jersey to school the next day. I'm feeling good. I'm like, we just won the Super Bowl. Yeah. I see a lot of people wearing Giants jerseys I've never seen wearing the jerseys before. And of course, this kid tries to yuck my yum. He's like, "You wore that yesterday, didn't you?" And I'm
damn fucking straight.
Damn right I did. Like, fuck off.
I'm going to wear it tomorrow, too.
I'll probably wear it all week. Okay, should we get into this?
I got a Tom Brady jersey for Christmas when I was like 12. I wore that until the next year. It was amazing.
Yeah. Great choice.
Hey, it was a good choice at the time.
Yeah. Have you seen that tweet, but you could do it for Tom Brady, where it's like 10-year-old me deciding to be a LeBron James guy was the greatest decision I've ever made.
100% agree with that from a Tom Brady standpoint. Yeah. Like, 8-year-old me, he just, I don't know. I saw the way Patriots was spelled. I'm like, that's getting dangerously close to Patrick right there. That's my team.
the Patricks.
The
New England Patriots.
The Patrick Yachts.
Like, they say he's a game manager. They say he's not as good as Peyton, but I know how good he is.
Exactly. I know. In retrospect, especially nowadays, like, I watch the Tom Brady roast. Like, I see all this like Manning cast stuff, and I'm like, damn, like Peyton Manning seems like so much cooler than Tom Brady, but like I made
right
the
choice.
decision.
Yeah, Tom Brady
I made the
was-
decision. I got to ride with my guy Tom.
Yeah. That was like a fun football rivalry, but I feel like in retrospect, the gap between them is like a bit bigger than it felt at the time.
I don't know. I just think the teams were like so imbalanced. Like Belichick is like a
The Colts were pretty good. They had,
the Colts were good.
Because Manning always had like the superstar receivers
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's true. And like, I mean, back in the day, like Edgerrin James and stuff, like the skill position was like very much in Peyton Manning's court.
So this is one thing that would be fun for basketball, because this is a football thing that comes up a lot. And we're seeing it right now with Tua. Is like Peyton Manning though was one of those quarterbacks where he just couldn't win in the cold.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, cold weather warrior.
Cold weather legend.
I want the NBA to do an outdoor game like college basketball does.
Me too. Oh my God. I've always said this.
Yeah.
I mean, the dream one would be on Venice Beach, Lakers,
Oh my
Clippers.
God.
Like, just give it to me.
Yeah.
Like, how great would that be?
I think the aircraft carrier idea is so cool.
Aircraft carrier would be awesome as well. I just
Not
feel
as
like
NBA coded though.
definitely windy. Right?
Like maybe an all-star game. You know how the NHL does their outdoor classic or whatever? Like
yeah,
I think it'd
yeah.
be so cool if we had an outdoor NBA game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the All-Star game's an interesting idea because it's like you guys aren't going to try anyways. You can't complain about it being windy or whatever. Just like go do it.
Either you try this year or we give you concrete courts next year.
Or even like what about like just the dunk contest?
Yeah,
Like-
I don't know. Something outdoors would
Yeah,
be cool.
you do like the dunk contest in like on like a skyscraper. That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome. All right, shall we get to these NFL, NBA superlatives?
Let's do it. I'm very nervous about this, James.
Really, I'm not that nervous.
Yeah, because you are like a hardcore football fan.
But you're a hardcore basketball fan.
I am. And so you might have to help me with a couple of these if you
Okay.
feel like
Well,
I'm missing
this
an
is not meant
aspect.
to be like this is last week we analyzed who's fallen off a cliff and we're bringing up like his and one percentage dropped 16% and this guy he started shooting as well and then I feel like this is not going to be that exercise.
It's a little bit more aura based.
Yeah, a lot more
sure.
aura based. Okay, who you want to go first?
Well, I'll just bring up the one that we were talking about a little
Okay.
bit before the podcast started. And so I think the Bears are the NFL's version of the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a tough sell, right? It starts with just like being built around like a generational prospect. Wemby, obviously he's already past his year one, and then Caleb Williams, he's going into his year one. He's like just this absolute generational quarterback
It
prospect.
has looked like it in the preseason.
But then, like, you look into it a little bit more, I think, like, the way both teams have surrounded their young stars with, like, kind of vet role players who, like, would have been amazing for them maybe, like, 5 years ago. But in Keenan Allen, in DeAndre Swift, and then Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, like, we've got all that. Those are the parallels that I was able to identify with that one. How do you feel about that for the Spurs or the Bears?
I like it. I think, I don't want to disrespect the Bears in this aspect. I think they've done a lot better of a job surrounding their young guy with talent than the Spurs. DJ Moore is a superstar receiver, but I kind of like the comparison too. They're both in tough divisions. Mm-hmm. The Spurs got to go through the Mavericks, obviously just went to the finals. The Grizzlies are coming back. I think the Pelicans look like a pretty solid team again. And the Rockets, look like they could be teetering around 500 like the Vikings would be. The good teams, the Lions are, favorites.
Yeah.
The Mavericks just went to the finals. So I think it's interesting that their whole situation is pretty similar.
I feel like the other thing about it is like with both of these teams, it's like you wouldn't be surprised if they were a bottom five. You wouldn't be shocked if they were a bottom five team in the league, but also you wouldn't be shocked if it was like play in and wild card for these two teams.
Yeah. No, I like that comparison. Okay.
Hit me with one.
I've got the Buffalo Bills
Okay, I have a Bills one as well. I wonder where
and
you're
the
gonna
Philadelphia 76ers.
go. Okay. I went Bucks, but
the Bucks. Okay.
lay out Sixers for me.
Yeah, so the Bills and the Sixers both have, by a lot of people's opinions, the quote unquote second best player in the world. I don't think Embiid, people really view Embiid quite in that level, but Embiid's been second in MVP like 3 or 4 years in a row now. Obviously, he did win an MVP to Jokic which would be the Mahomes to Josh Allen. And both the Bills and the Sixers are just these teams, and it feels like every year they're kind of like super teams, and they just can't get past the second round of the playoffs. The Bills did it once, so I don't want to decree the Bills like that. But it just feels like these teams are both built around these superstars, and it just feels like every year it's like at some point it has to be their year because they've been so good year in and year out, both of these teams. And they're both built around kind of really one-of-a-kind players that are like kind of larger than life. And I think they're both very kind of similar too, where the Bills and the Sixers, I feel like, kind of have, because of salary cap limitations in both sports, kind of hit their crescendo and maybe are angling downward a little bit. Obviously, the Sixers just brought in Paul George and, Caleb Martin and all these guys. So they're a little bit more maybe upward trajectory, but, they're not as deep. And that's where I think these guys, two teams, have had a similar kind of four-year arc.
Yeah, 4 year. I was like, I don't even know what you're trying to say right here. I love the Josh Allen, Joel Embiid comp is so perfect. I was trying to do that same thing with like the Giannis, but I think that especially because it's like it's the always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Like both of those guys, like weirdly, could be forgotten in history as like this like game-changing talent. I think you nailed that. And then the reason why I picked the Bucks for the Bills was that whole like this is definitely not the peak of their roster.
Yeah.
Like we're past the Diggs era. We're like their defense isn't like exactly what it's been at its peak, or at least we don't think so. And like I think the 76ers, like you said, are like kind of crescendoing now. But I think the Josh Allen and Embiid one. Yeah, they're just so good. And they're just like two like Goliaths.
Yeah,
that, like
massive men, physical. Yeah.
Okay. This one's going to be a little bit, I'm going to have to pitch this to you a little bit, but I think you'll get where I'm going.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Rams are the Golden State Warriors of the NFL.
Okay, sell me on it.
Okay. So I think they are both like championship contending like organizations, very like light years ahead from like obviously Warriors were the light years ahead team. The Rams for a long time were the like, we don't care. Like we're thinking about this in a different way. Les Snead, led. They both have that one guy that makes you like, I don't think anyone thinks the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't think anyone thinks the Warriors are going to win the title this year, but they both have that one guy in Sean McVay and Steph that it's like, well, they have him. He's such a game changer. He does things in such a different way that like conventional wisdom kind of goes out the window to a certain extent. And then the other thing is I think they're two teams with two timelines of talent. With the Rams, you've got Stafford, who is just like ancient, but he's still pretty elite.
Yeah.
In kind of a similar way of like Draymond. And then they've also got Cup on that timeline. But then on the younger timeline, you've got Nakua, you've got Kyron Williams, that it's like, and then there's the Kuminga, Moody, Podziemski. If these two timelines can like converge, they could be championship contenders, either one of them.
Patrick, you missed another like big crossover superlative. Both teams lost a pillar of their iconic foundation.
True.
The Warriors lost Klay Thompson. The Rams lost Aaron Donald.
I did not think about that at all. I love it. You're making. Yeah, that's the pitch.
Like this.
Rams
are
the Warriors.
Yeah, like the old wily veteran. Stafford and Steph's offensive superstars.
Mm-hmm.
Both still up playing at a super high level. I like that.
And then I think also like I compared McVay to Kerr, or I compared him to Curry, but he's also
Kerr and McVay are both offensive masterminds. Okay, I've got one that will upset the natives of the two states these teams play in.
There we go, even better.
I've got the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
And the Houston Texans.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Both teams made it to the second round of the playoffs last year. Both teams have an absolute young superstar stud. We've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We've got CJ Stroud. But also we've got, a guy in Jalen Williams that like the Texans, we've got Nico Collins and Tank Dell, two receivers that looked like they could just take the number one role already, but they brought in Stephon Diggs to fill in that roster the same way the Thunder brought in Isaiah Hartenstein.
There we go.
A little bit different. The Diggs-Hartenstein comparison, honestly, not really a clean fit.
Yeah.
But they both brought in some talent to really try to take their teams over the hump. I mean, I think like last year, people thought the Thunder were going to take a big step forward. We both did. Obviously, they kind of took an even bigger step than I think we all thought. And, both teams lost to the eventual representative for their conference. Texans lost to the Ravens. My apologies. But either way, I think both of these teams are poised to make a run at the finals in their respective sports, and I just feel like they're very similar.
Yeah, the CJ Stroud-Shea comparison is really awesome. And I wonder if by the end of the season, we still feel like that is a appropriate comparison, because I think it's pretty high praise for
Stroud.
For Stroud, a quarterback going into just his second year. I do wonder, though, like, I think there's a pretty big chance that at the end of both of these seasons, Hartenstein affects winning for the Thunder more than Diggs.
Yeah, I could
does
see that.
For
the Texans, two guys, Dell and Collins, already looked like they were going to be really good receivers. So I feel like Diggs is just, bolstering a strength, whereas Hartenstein was like filling a need.
Yeah. As well as who's Mixon. They got Mixon as their running back now, which is like a whole nother like element to, like, they had like Damian Pierce last year doing nothing.
And also the Texans, I guess you could, the Thunder, they got Chet, big young guy. Texans, Will Anderson.
There you go.
Absolute stud of a pass rusher.
And then, I mean, the coaches, Dagnall and D'Amico, like, that's
great young coaches.
Yeah,
really
I love
good
that
defensive leaning coaches, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, we're cooking. Okay, this one might be my favorite one. The Bengals are the Pelicans of the NFL.
I did not have this one.
Okay.
You're going to have to really sell me on this one.
Yeah. Okay, so both are built around generational talent, superstar, number one picks in Joe Burrow and Zion Williamson. But both of their rosters have like glaring weaknesses that uniquely like challenge their superstars. The Bengals, they just continue to have a abysmal offensive line that is like, I mean, that's why Joe Burrow has the injury issues that he has. And then with Zion like is this athletic freak. He's huge, but like ideally you play him in more of like a guard role, but they have no big men. So it's like the Pelicans are like they kind of have to have him be more of a rim protector than he really should. I think he's most effective when he's this like offside rim protector. But then the other thing that I liked is both of like the co-stars are like shrouded in uncertainty, and it's kind of on two different sides of the thing. But it's Jamar Chase. He doesn't have a new contract. All the best wide receivers in the league are getting paid. That doesn't help in the locker room. And then Brandon Ingram, like everything was like, he's getting traded. He's getting out of here. And he's still there. So I just feel like that's what I saw there.
Okay. I can see it kind of. I just feel like it's a little disrespectful to the Bengals. The team that's been to a Super Bowl, been to another AFC championship game, gone toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. And I feel like the Pelicans just haven't done enough to warrant the comparison.
I hear you, but I don't know. I felt like the Bengals Super Bowl appearance feels like so long ago now that like I do want to like give them shouts for it, but it's also like, what's going on right now? You know what I mean?
So I actually had a Bengals comparison that I changed because I think this is a better one. I had the Miami Heat and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, I have the Heat and the Steelers as well.
So I think like the trajectory of the Heat and the Steelers the last 5 years is not at all similar, but organizationally, it feels like neither of these teams will ever be able to. Well, I mean, the Steelers have never had a losing season under Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
And they have had some rosters that are coming into the last like 5 seasons. People were like, what is is this supposed to be an NFL team? And then
who is our quarterback?
They win 9 or 10 games. And the Heat, in the mid 10s kind of had rosters like that where it's like, so Dion Waiters is the 1A guy on this team and they're going to go 43-39. Okay. So I think the Steelers and the Heat, like organizationally, are really, really similar. The reason I originally had the Bengals is because the Bengals are this team that went to the finals, didn't get it done, but they've been kind of like knocking on the door. But I feel like even people really don't view them as like title contenders the same way they would like a Buffalo Bills, even though the Cincinnati Bengals always beat the Bills. It's kind of like the Bucks and the Heat, where it's like people always talk about the Bucks as a finals team. They can never beat the Heat.
Yeah.
So the Heat, I feel like, are very Bengals-like in that they're kind of the kryptonite for every other team in their conference, but they can't get it done themselves.
Well, I also think if Russell Wilson was traded to the Steelers like last year, this would be even more of like if we were doing this preseason last year, it'd be even more of like an apropos comp, because it's like, what are we getting out of Russell Wilson? What are we getting out of Jimmy Butler? They both are built behind this like these amazing defenses. And then also, I think there's like a George Pickens, Tyler Hero comp of like, these guys look like
really
superstars.
good
Like
at times.
Like just look at them and look at their like, go on TikTok, Google their names. You'll be convinced they're like the best player in the league. But also it hasn't really panned out in practice. No, I love that one. Yeah, that's the one that I told you I wrote down one when I was driving here this morning. That is the one. I think that one's perfect. Do you got another one? We kind of.
Yeah, I kind of have. I mean, it's more of a negative one.
Okay, that's okay.
And I think this team is looking like it's going to turn it around. So I think this take I kind of think could age very poorly. But I gotta say, I think the Wizards, Panthers, Wizards, Giants, the Raptors. I think honestly, the Raptors and the Patriots. Like a lot of these teams where it's like, I mean, Raptors like Patriots. It's like two teams that recently had some title success in the last 5 years. And then through a series of just like roster deterioration, we've ended up in this like, what are these teams? Like the Patriots have started their rebuild. Drake May looks like he has a chance, but like the receivers are horrible. The offensive line's not very good. The defense just traded Judon. Raptors obviously just traded a lot of their guys. And it's just like, it looks like it's going to be really rough for the next 2 years for the Raptors and Patriots. The Wizards look like they're starting to have some organizational competency. So I don't want to compare them to the Giants and Panthers, who seem largely incompetent as professional franchises.
I don't know, man. I think you're giving a little too much credit to the Wizards.
All right, so I'll do Wizards Giants.
Yeah, I think Wizards Giants fits.
Two teams that just like, what are you doing? Like constantly, what are you doing?
Yeah. Okay, I've got two more that we just 1,000,000% have to hit. The first one, the New York Jets are the Los Angeles Lakers of the NFL. Right?
I was trying to figure out who the Jets team was.
It's like you've got the aging superstars that it's like, oh, like it's preseason, like they could be the best player in the league. I don't know. Like, right? Like
the Jets could win the Super Bowl.
The Jets could win the Super Bowl. And like, I feel like you could like, if the Lakers won the finals,
it would not be the most shocking.
I wouldn't be like that shocked. Like these are the two teams that it's like, if they win, if they lose, Stephen A. Smith will lead off with them every morning in First Take. And there's also like young talent interspersed with all of it. Like you've got the Garrett Wilson, you've got the Breece Hall, you've got Anthony Davis, who's not that young, but he's still kind of there. You've got fucking Reeves too. I just feel like, I don't know. This one's the most aura-based of all of them, but I just feel like they belong together.
No, this is a good apropos comparison, because I also do feel like, even though LeBron has obviously gone on to win like 4 championships, but I do feel like the Rodgers, LeBron, like the guys were, because I feel like, what's interesting about like both basketball and football that I've never understood is like, you close your eyes, you're in 2014. And then it's like people are debating, like, who's the best player in the world? Is it Kevin Durant or is it LeBron James? And it's like, whoa, wait. If we zoom out, we all think LeBron James is either the best or the second best player of all time. And Kevin Durant's like 15. How the fuck could Kevin Durant be higher than him right now? It doesn't make sense. If that was the case, then Kevin Durant would be in that all-time discussion. And it's the same thing with Rodgers, though, with Brady, where for most of the 2010s, year by year, people thought Rodgers was the better player.
Yeah.
But now that we've stepped back a lot, no one would think that. But it is interesting where if you took a time machine, most people would think that. So
yeah, in any given year, like who's the most talented?
Yeah, I think it's gonna. A lot of people would pick Rodgers almost 2012 through 2018, which is crazy. But
honestly, there are very few years in Tom Brady's career where I think he would have won that like poll of like, who's the most talented quarterback in the league.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Yeah, I like this comparison. This is a fun comparison. And it's also the same, like, obviously the Lakers historically are just an amazing, like, historically the Jets and Lakers could be further apart, but post 2021 Lakers with this version of the Jets, I really like.
Yeah, it's like if you look at like the Jets over the last 20 years and the Lakers since Kobe retired, it's like, it's kind of right there. It's not like too far off. Do you have any more? I have one more that I have to say.
I don't have any more.
Okay, my last one. The Dallas Cowboys are the Phoenix Suns of the NFL. So here's the case. They both are like, have like super top heavy rosters with guys that it's like, they like could be like definitely considered the best player in their position. Like you got Parsons, you got CeeDee Lamb, like, I mean, I don't think anyone would make that argument for Dak Prescott, but he's a very, very talented player.
The league in passing.
Yeah.
Or and then Tua might have, but yeah.
Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, they're all super, like, well-regarded players in this league. Both teams have owners that are probably a little bit too involved in the day-to-day operations in Jerry Jones.
They both play in the desert.
Yeah. And then, and they both have head coaches that won championships in Wisconsin.
Whoa!
In Mike Budenholzer and Mike McCarthy.
That's true.
That's all I got.
I like that comparison.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a Cowboys one, but my problem, I think my narrow thinking was like, all right, I have to pair the Cowboys with like a huge market team, and like the Knicks are now out of the Cowboy comparison.
Yeah. Oh, also they've also won the same amount of championships over my lifetime. I think. When was the Cowboys' last one?
Sometime in the mid-90s.
Yeah. Yeah, if it was post-97, it's the same.
Yep. Wow. Rough scenes for the Cowboys, but both teams have a chance this year. Okay. Shall we get to our draft?
Yes.
We're doing our starting five draft of U.S. states today, and this is a 1v1 draft today.
Wow, I'm so glad it's 1v1.
Yeah. Well, okay, can we talk about last week? Oh, that was rough.
Insane.
You and Johnny just did not show up for the hobbies draft at all.
I was fine losing that because it just shows that, unfortunately, a lot of you guys don't have good taste in hobbies. No, your hobbies were fine.
My hobbies were just killer.
Your hobbies were fine. I don't know. It's such a weird thing. But
okay, so when you lose, it's weird, but
no, it's not a weird thing that you won. It's a weird thing like comparing hobbies. Like it's so subjective, and
that's what all of these are.
No, it is, and I mean, I think I'm old enough to realize that my taste isn't always the taste of the masses as well, which is something I'm comfortable with, but. Are you ready to offend a lot of people?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to offend everybody today. I apologize in advance, inferior state residents.
I'm so glad that it's just us. Although I love when Max drafts with us, I was trying to make like a big board of like 15 states, and it was a little rough.
All right. Who went first in the hobbies draft?
Do we have a coin?
I think Johnny went first in the hobbies draft.
Yeah, I think.
No, or did I go first? No, I think I went. I don't know. Who knows? What went first in the hobbies draft? I know I took making videos. What did you take with your first pick?
You went first.
So you go first today.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. Take it.
Yeah,
There's an obvious one.
I'll take California.
Yeah, California is the most obvious 1-1 in the states draft.
Yeah, there's a reason why I moved here. It's so incredible, and it's like, 10 states. It could be.
The weather is great. You get like 4 major cities, 3 of which are pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of sub cities. You get like Santa Barbara. I mean, scenically.
And just beach, like beautiful
up and down the coast,
warm beach,
or like cliffside ocean, which is also just beautiful. We have the redwoods.
So much to do. Anything that you want, you could find it there.
Best food.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an obvious.
Yeah.
It's an obvious 1-1.
Yeah, it's number one on most people's draft board.
The weather, it can't be overstated how good the weather is. Okay, although we are having a heat wave this week.
Yeah, we are. It's especially out here in the valley. It gets hot.
Okay, I'm a city guy.
Yeah,
I'm
me
a
too.
city slicker. I love my cities. I'm gonna take New York.
There you go. Yeah, it was high on my board. Not gonna lie. You spent a lot of time in New York.
I love New York City. It's great. I don't love the weather, but I love New York City. There's a lot to do, and I'm getting the whole state of New York, which means, to be honest, not a lot to me. I'm not a big fan of upstate New York, but I do get Long Island, which I do love. Long Island's really nice. Good beaches there. Montauk at the very tip is really nice. And, if I ever want to, do a little foray up to Buffalo, catch a Bills game, I can do that. Go to Syracuse. I would probably never do that. I'm lying. But you know what? I don't really care for upstate. But I get New York City. That's all I care about. I'm going to take it.
For my second pick, I'm going to take another state that I've been to, but I feel like I haven't fully experienced all of what this state has to offer. I'm going with Texas.
Okay.
I'm a little bit worried about locker room issues between California and Texas, but I've been to Austin, incredible city, fun.
Austin is awesome.
It really feels like Arizona to me, very similar vibes there, which I enjoy. But there's just so many different big cities there and different cultures there that and I'm a Southwest guy at my core. So California, Texas, that's what I'm rocking with.
Yeah, so I personally feel like, shout out to the 48 states that are not CANY, but I feel like there's a huge drop off after the first round.
Yeah, it's like
Texas,
you don't know what the other team is going to value.
Yeah, Texas, I've been to Austin, really cool. I want to go back. I think Austin's awesome. Dallas, Houston are places.
Yeah, I've never been to either one. So
I went to Houston last year. It's kind of depressing.
Okay.
Also, the weather sucks in Texas. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I know people like Texas. They also chose to not be connected to our federal power grid. That kind of fucked them when there was a snowstorm 2 years ago.
That is true.
So I feel like there's a real drop off here. I don't know if I'm gonna hate myself. Okay, which one would I rather? I've got 2 northern states on opposite ends of the country.
We're really dividing the country here. These are going to be the lines for the next Civil War.
See, Florida, it's going to get drafted at some point here, but I just I don't care for, sorry, Northern Florida enjoyers. I just don't care for Northern Florida at all. I'm really just drafting Florida for Miami, and I've been to Tampa Bay actually a couple times.
Hey, that's you got a Disney park there.
I don't care about Disney. I'm an adult. You know what? I think
I can't tell you what to value.
I have a city that I think would be a ton of fun to live in. I think it's beautiful. I'm going to take the great state of Washington.
Wow. Okay. I
Gorgeous.
respect that. Yeah. The wooded areas, very nice.
Did I just lose the draft there?
No.
Okay.
It's hard to say because we're not just drafting big cities. We're drafting the whole damn state.
Yeah, well, Eastern Washington, a little
Yeah.
But I got Western Washington.
But you can say that
about California too.
Yeah,
the whole east side of California is a little crunky.
Okay, California and Texas. I gotta do it.
You going Sunbelt? Full Sunbelt?
I gotta go with the greatest state in this nation, Arizona.
Arizona went 5th.
Arizona went 5th.
Oh, Patrick, I think you just lost it there.
You know, there's Phoenix is one of the fastest growing cities in the country. It has the Grand Canyon, which is beautiful. Like, you can do so much. Like, Northern Arizona is like so underrated as far as like a camping. Like, you've got Sedona there, which is so beautiful. I mean, Scottsdale is like the bachelorette party capital of the world. The clubbing scene is like insane down there, which is so fun. And it's my home state, so I feel pretty comfortable. And you've also got spring training baseball. There's like the sports scene is awesome. Yeah, Arizona, give me it.
I know, Max, you don't have a mic. Just can you give me your reaction?
He's
to
shaking
that pick?
his head.
You could have easily taken that at 5.
Yeah, I think that I don't think I was gonna pick it, to be honest. You know, you've made a good case for Arizona. I just personally don't love hot weather, and that's actually why I'm having like an existential crisis right here with Florida.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys haven't spent a lot of time in Arizona, but like, I don't know what all that Florida has over Arizona.
I've been to Phoenix, and I've been to Miami, and as a city guy, one of those cities is much better than the other.
Where did you spend time in Phoenix?
I don't know. I was near the Footprint Center.
Oh, yeah. No.
Not a good part?
No.
It didn't seem like it. Although there was a lot of there was a lot of electric scooters, and there was a lot of space to use them, which I did appreciate.
Yes,
that was really cool.
Yeah, downtown Phoenix is like, it's actually like really grown since in the last 10 years since I've moved. But like Scottsdale. Golf courses, shopping.
My problem with this next pick, the state I want to pick, and I'm thinking more about states I would live in. And the problem with the state I'm thinking of is I feel like I could get it in round 4, but I don't know if I could get it in round 5. But I think there's a chance it doesn't get picked at all. And the other problem with this state is kind of universally hated by everyone who has not been there, but is universally loved by everyone who's ever been there. I'm going to take Massachusetts.
Ooh, it was on my board.
Okay, just a beautiful state.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I know everyone hates Boston. It is an awesome city.
A
Boston
lot of
is incredible.
history.
Like, really fun, really cool, really modern, really good public transportation, beautiful, universities, forests, everything. It's a great place. I love Massachusetts. I'm not afraid. I'll be a Celtics Tatum hater for the rest of my life, but
Hey,
got to tell the truth when it's out there, man.
greatest quarterback of all time.
Greatest quarterback.
Played there.
Yep.
A lot of Tom Brady love on this
spot.
Okay. I'm comfortable with that. Well then, yeah, give me Florida.
Okay.
Give me Florida. I mean, hey, I love a Disney park. That's always fun. I've never been to Miami, but seems like a very fun.
time.
I was just talking shit, but seems very fun. Maybe I could have switched Arizona and Florida, but right now I'm feeling very confident in my ability to retire in one of my states.
Solid.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like there is, with all due respect to the enjoyers of all these other states, like, I feel like there's a really big drop off here.
I will say your picks are very politically divided right now. I don't really know.
I've got all the like super blue states. You've got all like, well, you've California.
I got
but all
California
your other
in there.
ones are like the
Yeah.
red ones.
Arizona swing.
Florida, they say, is a swing. It's kind of a swing that doesn't swing back.
I think it was a swing when we were like
Younger.
born.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a state. Well, I'm going to dip my toes in the red / possibly purple this year, although this is not meant to be a political state draft.
Everything is political.
Everything is political in today's world. Okay. See, the problem is I don't know enough about this state. I don't think Patrick will take it. I visited Raleigh last year.
It was on my board, but I was not going to take it next.
And Raleigh is awesome. North Carolina, quite a vibe. But, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, North Carolina is one of those states that has those whack-ass liquor laws, not to be political, where it's like, if you can't buy liquor on Sunday or whatever. What is that? Is this medieval times?
It's also an iconic basketball state, which I appreciate.
Yes. Oh, man.
And flight. The Wright brothers locking it down.
Do I really? Oh. See, I don't know enough about the whole
Where's
state.
he from?
I don't know enough about the whole state, but I know a lot about the main city. I've been to the main city, and it was really cool. I'm gonna take Illinois.
There you go.
Which you're
Yeah.
not taking North Carolina. Oh, you're taking both. Okay.
No, I'm taking Illinois. I got Chicago.
Okay.
I don't know anything else about the state, but Chicago is awesome.
Yeah, Chicago's awesome. I went to a wedding in northern Illinois, and a lot of farmland, but super nice. We were just had a bunch of time to burn before going to the actual wedding, so we were just driving from little farm shop to little farm shop, getting the most delicious apples and cheese you could ever imagine. It was great. Yeah, good pick.
Illinois.
Okay.
I feel like I'm
gonna lock up my win with this next one. Give me Hawaii.
good pick. Good pick.
I've never been to Hawaii. I would love to go to Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii is just Hawaii, it's got a volcano, which is pretty cool. It seems beautiful, and I don't know what else to say. Tough that it doesn't have any pro sports. I don't think I could live in Hawaii for that singular
also,
reason.
the NFL games would start at what time? 7 in the morning?
I have no idea. I don't know what the
I
time
would kind of
difference
like
is.
that. I'm not going to lie, but
But-
I know most people wouldn't.
Yeah, that wouldn't be terrible. So the Sunday night game would start at
3 in the
3?
afternoon.
Yeah, that would be
kind of cool.
that wouldn't be
But what time
terrible.
would the basketball games be on?
the same time,
So your
3, 4?
Sixers Knicks game is going to tip off at 3 or 4 or 1.
Yeah.
And then your Lakers Warriors late night game tips off at what?
Or no, it's got to be
4?
earlier,
5?
right?
It's kinda
Yeah,
nice.
maybe it is
I like
5.
that. I like having time after the when I lived on the East Coast. I really did hate when it was Warriors, Lakers, 10:30 p.m. tip off, and I was like, bro, this game's gonna end at 1 in the morning.
Yeah, that would be very unhealthy for me. I've never lived on the East Coast, but that would be tough.
Okay, so just looking at the abbreviations, Patrick, I feel like you're gonna win.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm wondering why I picked Washington ahead of Massachusetts, even though I got both. That's what's on my head right now. Okay, so I can't take North Carolina. This is the last pick of the draft.
This is the last. You can take North Carolina. You want me to read you some states that I had on my big board that I did not take? Let's see. Louisiana was in there.
No.
Nevada
No.
was in there.
No,
Pennsylvania.
absolutely not. I've been a lot of time in Pennsylvania.
And Michigan.
Rural Pennsylvania is depressing.
No love for New Jersey?
Oh yeah, New Jersey. You went to college there.
Guys, I don't get New York City when I draft New Jersey. And I don't really want Trenton, Camden.
That's true.
Jersey City is really nice. Jersey City is a great
The
time.
beaches?
Hoboken is a great time. The beaches, New Jersey,
The
you have
cake
to
boss.
pay. You have to pay to go to the beach.
Really?
Yeah.
How? What? How's
It's
that work?
how you're here in California, you just go.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, all the entry points have a toll booth.
Wow,
It sucks.
that does suck.
Um,
Toll roads.
See, here's the
toll
thing. I have
booths.
lived in New Jersey for
out.
5 years, and New Jersey people won't admit it, but I think it may be the most overrated state.
Damn.
Well, all right. Well, New Jersey does a lot of good things. They're ranked top 5 in education. It's a good place to raise a kid. But in terms of once you escape New Jersey, you'll realize damn, paying for the beach sucks. Damn, gray clouds every day sucks.
I know one crazy thing to me about New Jersey. I've never been to New Jersey, but you can't pump your own gas?
Yeah, I hate that.
That's crazy.
But here's the thing, because when I've argued this with my friends in college, they'd be like, well, we have New York City. And I'm like, you don't have New York City. New York has New York City. We actually have our cities.
that is so funny.
You guys also don't have a basketball team anymore, and you're trying to steal the Sixers.
If the Sixers moved to New Jersey, would they be your pick?
No, no.
Just to bring it all back around.
Okay.
Alaska? Wild card?
Dude, I'm a city guy. I'm really drafting the cities, which is why I'm going to lose this. Because I think Patrick beat me in the state draft. But the thing is, I don't know enough about North Carolina outside of Raleigh. Raleigh was cool, but could Raleigh sustain me?
That you got Chapel Hill. You got
I would pick Oregon for Portland.
See, Oregon was the other state I'm really thinking about, but I've been down to Eugene and it's sketchy and scary.
But you can say that about any of these.
That's true. Every state's got a sketchy, scary
state's
part.
got a sketchy, scary part. Hey, California, it's got multiple.
Do U.S. territories count?
No, this is the U.S. This is the U.S. state.
Okay, you know what? Okay,
You want to get political? Then I'll talk about how I think
No, we're
it's
not getting political.
crazy that Washington D.C. is not a state.
Does that count as a state?
I think we could.
Just for
It's
this draft.
not
Just
a
for this draft. It's
state.
not a state. All right, you're right. It's not a state.
You can go Maryland.
I haven't been. It's risky
Yeah.
to draft a state you haven't been to. Like, I feel like Baltimore is a city I truly know nothing about.
All I know is that they had a bridge fall
And they fixed it quickly.
and they fixed it quickly.
That's a good sign. All right, I'm going to take Oregon.
There
I'm
you
a
go.
West Coast guy. I tried to lock up I would have locked up the entire West Coast if I had the first pick. The West Coast is the best coast.
I agree with that. Warm states. for
Portland
the
is a
win.
great city. Like I think Portland is awesome. I've been there, had a great time there. Seattle, I love Seattle too. I mean, just the Pacific Northwest is really beautiful. Now, I will say, if you're a Team Patrick, you're like, it rains a lot. We take some L's, but it is what it is.
Hey, rains a lot in Florida. And
Max.
I bet in Hawaii.
Do you think Iowa should have been drafted?
No.
No. Okay.
He's saying yes. He's very upset.
I would have drafted it, but for no good reason.
Okay. So I have New York, Washington, Massachusetts, Illinois, and Oregon.
I have California, Texas, Arizona, Florida, and Hawaii.
I feel like the
Retirement City.
Come on, there's a reason why people retire there.
So this is not to be political either way, but I think it's funny that, like, if we counted like the electoral college votes of all these states, I think Patrick's like electoral college count would be like what, like 50?
Oh yeah,
60
you could
higher than
almost
mine?
just elect someone to president just with these 5 states.
Yeah, like if either candidate this November wins your states, they're going to win, and
Yeah.
if they win my states, they're in trouble.
They're just gonna need some
So wait,
help.
Patrick, was your game plan just to take the most populated states? I'm realizing. Did I really mess up? Should I have gamed this out more?
No, I didn't have a game plan other than to pick the best talent available on the board.
All right, well, we will see who wins this. I would be shocked if it's not Patrick, but thank you guys for listening. We will catch you guys next week. Peace.